Coach Gundy with us now, and another win for Oklahoma State last weekend, a victory over Kansas 31-13. Kansas did not score in the first three quarters. I think they had 142 yards of offense, and that was it through three quarters. So what's led to the defensive evolution, and how much has your health on the defensive side, the improved health, played a role in your success recently?
Both of those things have helped. Our guys are starting to get a feel for this league, I think, as a staff, defensive staff, and the players. They're getting on the same page. And if we would have known now, or if we'd have known in August what we know now, I wish, because we could have got more reps in other areas. But I don't think that we were fully convinced about the transition that we needed to make scheme-wise, and then getting the players to compete in those positions they need to be in. But regardless, they've played really well over the last month. They've created turnovers, taken advantage of it. We've tackled fairly well. The players have minimized big plays, with the exception of Baylor. They've gotten better, and I think they're all getting a feel for it, players, coaches, and everybody. And it's, it's so enjoyable to watch as a coach that we're not as explosive offensively right now as we have been the last 5 or 6 years. So you've got to be able to hang your hat somewhere. And last week we were very average on special teams. So the defense carried us, and we hit a couple big plays and didn't turn the ball over, and we were able to find a way to win.
Colby Harvell-Peel has been named the Big 12 Conference Defensive Player of the Week for a third time. He had another huge game against Kansas with 2 interceptions. How does a guy like that end up always around the football? Because the last 3 weeks he's just made play after play after play.
It's interesting. I compare him to Sean Lewis back years ago. That we joked about it. Every time there was a ball that's tipped or on the ground, he happened to be standing around there. And then we realized that good players a lot of times have a second sense and savvy to be in the right place. And he's in the right place, but he's also making those plays. The one interception he got the other day was not an easy interception. The ball was tipped, and he caught it back behind himself. And the ball, when he has a chance, he's making the plays, and fortunately, he's in the right place.
Tress Ford, a freshman, had an interception in the game against Kansas. And he started the last few games at that hybrid linebacker end position. Right. How surprised are you that as a true freshman, he's been able to contribute as much as he has at that position?
For this long in the season, I'm surprised. Those guys usually hit a wall and get really tired. He's done very well, and his workload is increasing. He's up to about 40 plays a game now. He's a really good baseball player. He's very athletic. And, when he made that catch, that's an advantage of his eye-hand coordination.
Offensively, Chuba Hubbard, another 100-yard game. He didn't have the gaudy rushing numbers that he's had in some other games, but he found other ways to make a contribution. Screen pass, for example, a couple of those that he hit for about 40 yards.
So he was at about 180 yards or so, 170 maybe, whatever, from scrimmage, which is a really good day for a running back. But he's had such big days, people didn't talk about it a lot. But we need to throw the ball to him more. I'm just a little cautious of what to do with him. Sometimes when running backs catch the ball, their backs to the other team, they're hitting him. That makes me a little nervous. But for the most part, he's been very effective.
You had an off week prior to the Kansas game, and it's interesting because the off weeks really came within less than a month of each other. But do you think the timing of that, as far as getting guys healthy, reducing mental and physical fatigue, do you think that worked out maybe ideally for your team, given your personnel?
It did. This is really the first week, meaning last week, that we were healthy across the board on defense. We've had a number of guys out. We've had D-line injuries all year, linebackers that didn't start till they were the 5th week of the season, and then guys that were getting hurt during the season. I'd mentioned that to Coach Knowles yesterday, that it's nice that we could practice last week 2 deep and rotate guys in, get quality practice without having to slow down and sub guys because we didn't have enough depth. So it's nice to have those guys healthy.
That being said, it is the end of November. We're going into game number 11. You've been at it for a long time, obviously, like everyone else. So what's the balance between a team that has a lot of momentum, fighting the fatigue mentally and physically that comes into play, and you're not starting a lot of seniors, so you don't have just a ton of experience?
I think we're in good shape now with where we're at, and I mentioned this to the team last night, that we need to push hard this week, we need to push hard the next week, and then they get a break. They need to know there's a light at the end of the tunnel. just from the early morning workouts, the training, the video, the practices, the wear and tear. It's a lot. And so they're in August, September, October. They're in almost 14 weeks now. And I think they'll do fine. We'll push hard. We'll push them hard again next week, and then after that, we're going to get a little bit of a break. So I'm looking forward to working them hard this week and staying with it. I've cut practices back about 20 minutes on Tuesday and Wednesday, and I think that's helped us over the last few weeks.
Another win for the Cowboys, and Oklahoma State's on a roll. Next up, a road trip to West Virginia, and Coach Gundy and I will preview that for you later in the week. Thanks for watching.